Please, God, let this work. Please, God, let this work. All right. It says we're live. It says we're broadcasting. We have 0 viewers. But if we're lucky, we'll get 1 or 2 in if we stay on topic for the next 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, so now I just moved my microphone and put my headphones on. Can you still hear me?
Oh yeah, you sound great.
Okay, great, perfect. I got I'm rich, man. I have everything. I have the best microphones, the best women, the best money. I got it all, man. It's me, the truth messenger
I
of
know.
money.
You got everything except your kids.
Yeah, this becomes a problem.
And isn't that the crutch of
Well,
any man?
I survived. That's the thing, right? I survived to 40 years old before my kids, and I'm surviving now. The only thing is, I'm admitting to myself finally that there's pain that I never understood before, and there was an easy way around. There was an easy way to alleviate that pain, and not just my own pain, the pain that I know that my little children go through missing somebody like me, because I am special and I am real and I am their father. And I'm also an individual. I'm also who I actually am. And so this is my only issue with the whole children thing, is the fact that another person thinks that they're more valuable than you. Because I've dealt with that all my life, like with musicians, with women, with men. And then all of a sudden someone thinks they're a better parent than you. There's so many different situations where the other parent wishes they had the other parent to help them. Like, just as a parent, I'm pretty sure whether you were together with the mother of your child or not, if she just moved to Canada like in 2 months from now and set herself up and took advantage of Canada, and then called you up and said, "Hi, Chris, it's me. Can I parent my kid with you? I'm in Canada," and you'd be like, "Sure, no problem."
Wow, yeah, that's a tough sell, my friend. It's a very tough
That
sell.
that's the only way it can be. I mean, if someone does that, you can't say no to them. That's why I'm in the position I'm in. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me anyway. Coming from your position, you can't be protective all of a sudden. If someone makes the sacrifice and explains to you that they're there for you and the child or whatever, and they just want to be the other parent, then why would you stop them?
Yeah. Uh,
Without going into the past, period. That's exactly what I'm trying to alleviate myself.
well,
Someone using excuses and going into the past and saying, "Oh, this is this." It's like, no, right now I'm here.
oh, dude, when you're talking about uh, going into the past, what you're talking about is um, a woman. A woman's prerogative is to dig up shit from the past. They don't live in the moment. I mean, this is MGTOW 101.
Yes, but if this woman was living in the moment and did exactly what I said she just would do, which is 3 simple steps, and then called you up and said, "I'm here. I'm here to parent my child because that's my child," and they're not talking about taking the child back to wherever. They're just actually saying, "I'm here."
Mm.
That gives
Well,
that gives you half your life back.
okay. I'm going to interrupt you for a second because it says that we have 1 viewer, and I want to say to that 1 viewer that I mean, finally got the time and the space to make this shit work, and I'm hoping it does now. So if it does, please put a comment in the live chat that's supposed to be available.
Just say you're trying to figure this out. So yeah, I mean, I don't see anybody in the chat right now or whatever, or
Yeah,
viewer, but
it says 1 watching. It says 1 watching now because I've got the thing.
well, I'll
But
type
if you're in
something.
here,
I'll type something in the chat just to test. But this is just a
yeah,
test.
there it is. Jack Nicholson first. Thank fuck. Thank fuck, Jake Nicholson. I love you. Son of a bitch. All right, so this is working now. After all this goddamn time,
But I
me
typed
moving
howdy
to a
in.
new place. Well, I can type in this. Thank fuck. All right. Now, I don't know if
Well,
you guys understand, but
I didn't see your
This cock is an old cock. Australia rocks.
whatever you typed in. I don't see that popping up in my group chat here that I have up here.
No, you have to go to the actual live channel. You got to go out to the live channel that's happening. Now I figured this shit out.
Where's that?
I'll send you a link.
Q&A. I'm talking to you on the live channel. What are you talking about?
No, not there. This is the whole thing.
It says live on my thing, and I'm in Google, but it should be YouTube. Or what are you talking about? Because I'm in.
You're talking on. See, this is the mistake I made. I was talking on the chat. This is not the chat that we're supposed to be talking on. Click on that link I just sent you on this chat. I'll take you to the live one. See, we're old. Well, if there's a lag. I don't know. There's a lag.
Okay,
I don't know what to do with it.
I just, as soon as I clicked that link, I was getting that echoing double lag or whatever.
Yeah,
So
turn off the volume. Don't just turn the volume off.
turn the volume off on this window, or on this.
No, on the window I just sent you. Turn that off.
Okay.
Just pause it. Don't even let it run.
Okay, I did.
Just pause it, and then there shouldn't be any lag.
Okay, and whenever I talk, my wolf pops up, and your chicken disappears. I think.
That's good.
I mean, it didn't work that time, but let's see. Now there's a lag.
So for you guys listening, Messenger says howdy, and he's a burly man living in BC who has 2 young daughters who he can't see. He cannot see them. It's hell on earth, basically, my friends. When you have to live a life here on our plain earth and say, I want to reproduce. I want children. I want children to kiss and love and to teach and allow them to grow up. Teach them how to ride a bike and grow up and spend time with them. And then suddenly it's taken away from you. It's taken away from you from a vindictive cunt. A woman who has the state behind her, who is pushing every motion of her emotional diarrhea, allowing her to basically just stand up and go, I'm a woman, I'm a child, I need my kids, fuck the father of my children.
Okay.
And then Justin Trudeau says, you go, girl. You go. That's what Justin Trudeau says. What?
Because I turned my mic off and like you asked me to on this part, ask your viewer if they can hear my voice as well as your voice.
Can you guys hear Truth Messenger?
Howdy. Just trying to get this all straightened out before we start doing some serious talks.
Yeah, this is just a test. Just a test. I just moved to a new place.
Let's get this figured out first, AM. Okay.
Yeah, both sound sexy. There you go.
Okay, so our mics are okay and everything's okay. That's good.
Everything's working.
So that's all
All
it
right,
was.
good.
It was a double video problem. Anyway, hello, Jack Nicholson. Or
Yeah.
Jake Nicholson. That's a decent name. I like that. I also like Australia. I'm just scared of all the creatures there. I like dogs. I have an Australian dog, a red heeler, same as Mad Max or whatever. But I don't like
You have it
spiders.
now?
I don't like
that
spiders.
dog now.
That's my dog. Yeah, little tiny.
Oh.
I just don't like spiders and lizards and stuff like that.
Now, this
And giant insects.
Yeah. This chat is basically a test again. I've done this like 3 times. I'm halfway to senior citizen. And so the technology doesn't stick to me like most people. And now I finally got this fucking thing working. Praise to God. Thank you, Jake, because you've confirmed that I can do this now. Because I got 1,000 people I want to do this with. Truth Messenger is one of them, and he is an old
rapper.
friend.
I'm a rapper and a songwriter.
Yeah, he's a rapper, a songwriter, but he's also an old friend of mine, very old friend of mine. One of the only guys that stuck around while I was going through my shit south of the equator in Indochina, Australasia. Actually, when I was a 5-hour flight from Jakarta to fucking Melbourne.
Yeah, I stuck with you for 8 and a half, 9 years on Skype, man.
Yeah. Jake, I had Huntsman in my room so many goddamn times, man. I had Huntsman spiders crawling on my walls. I'll tell you a story. I moved into a new place in deep south of Jakarta, and it was a shitty place. And one fine morning, I walked into the toilet, and standing up on the wall, you got to remember they have high walls in the southern hemisphere because it's hot, so you need that heat to rise. I walk into my washroom, high wall, and there's no windows, and there it is, giant, pregnant female huntsman sitting on my wall with an egg sac under her belly. And I was tired. I didn't want to I was like, oh my God, what should I do about that? But it was 3 a.m. I just got up. I look up at the spider and I go, fuck you, I'll get you tomorrow. Next day, it's gone. And I'll tell you not, for 2 weeks, I was chasing around huntsmans in my house and killing them every day.
There's those type of spiders don't live where I am, but you're saying where you both live.
That was in Jakarta. Yeah.
There's spiders like this.
Yeah, they're the size of your fucking hand, dude.
Why don't you invite Jack Nicholson or Jake Nicholson to talk to us? To talk to us, you just have to send him an invite, and he can actually join the conversation. Ask him if he'd like to.
I think I could do that, but I think I have to do it from here. See, I'm still trying to figure this out, right?
Well, you need his. I'm not sure if you need the email or not, but
no. You just need to. You can do Google. Share a permalink. That's all you gotta do is share my permalink. I gotta find out.
Yeah, I'd rather figure this all out so we can invite whoever we want, and then also, before we ever talk about flat Earth, like why would we talk about that? We can talk about huntsman spiders all night.
Huntsman spiders.
I've never even fucking seen one. I don't even want to talk about it with a name like that.
Hold on a second. No, the huntsman spiders they're not poisonous. They're not actually that dangerous, but they're just big and ugly looking, man.
Maybe ask him if he wants to join by the chat, because I'm trying to figure out my own shit here. Okay, so it's there. So I don't see where it says viewers.
No, I think they have to be on Google Hangouts to invite to a chat. Because I got the permalink, but I'm not going to post it in the fucking chat because then everybody can get it. Right, he's keen for a quick one. You're about 12 hours ahead of us, buddy. So I'm thinking you're about noon, somewhere over there.
There we go. I'm in this video call as well.
You figured it out? Yeah, for you guys listening, we're just trying to figure this shit out. 4:37 p.m. Holy Christ. Jesus, you're like 13 hours, 14 hours ahead of us. Okay. In the future.
I'm getting an error screen there. So Google Hangouts. And I'm on YouTube over here. Oh, that's it.
What you want to do is open up Google Hangouts.
Yeah, but I use 2 different browsers, and I have an issue with one of my browsers, which is fine.
I thought you had like fucking 5 screens or something.
Yeah, no, the screens don't matter. It's the one of my browsers doesn't accept. It won't accept video calls except on Skype, and my other browser works with here. So anyway,
So I'm gonna add a contact.
Just put a hyperlink up into the chat. I guess I mean, or you can't send links. I tried sending a
No,
song link.
I don't know if you can send links in the chat, but you don't really want to do that. You don't want to send the ad to the chat because then anybody can join, right? What you want to do is find
Right.
them on Google Hangouts. There's a name, and the name would be. Uh-oh, hello, you still there, buddy? I lost you. Well, I just lost Jeremy. He disappeared. It looks like it's just me now. I might have to invite him back. Hold on, I'll see if I can invite him back. He left the group. Okay, I'm going to try and add him back to the group. Here he is. All right, I just tried to add him back. I don't know if he's coming back. He might be gone for good. But again, this was just a test. But now I know how to do it, kind of. I'm going to make a habit out of doing this again. Let's try to add someone else here. No, it's none of those guys. Well, I'll tell you what, Jake. If you're still there, on Google Hangouts, enter my name and add me as a contact. And yeah, just go to Google Hangouts, add me as a contact so I can find you. And I have no idea what happened to poor old Messenger. He just fucking died. All right, well, just take goddamn. Okay, there's the link. Join it. There's a link in Hangouts. Join it.
Okay, I'm back there, buddy.
Did you take the link I just sent in the chat?
No, I found a way back through this Hangout, and now I'm good. So yeah, we talk through Google Hangouts, but the video is being recorded on YouTube Live or whatever. So
yeah, I just put the link now. Now anybody that listens to this can actually join the Hangout.
Okay, well I'm gonna take my picture up because I'm fucking woohoo, money man. Is my voice lagging or no? My video's lagging. Back to the wolf.
Well, it looks good to me, buddy.
Well, I'm back to the wolf here. For some reason, you can see my face still. And I changed it on my Google Hangout. No, there's the wolf. I just want to make sure all that's running correctly, right? Like when I speak, the thing shows up. just like Jeranism and these guys who do it properly.
You're looking at the right place.
So he said he wanted to join. So said, did you send him a link?
I sent the link in the chat, but then I removed it because I don't want to keep it up there.
You just have to send him a link the same way you did me.
No, yeah, I have to go to Google Hangouts and find him, and I can't find him on Google Hangouts, so I can't find him.
Well, you just type in the thing and say, what's your Google Hangout name?
There's fucking a million Jake Nicholsons, dude. I don't know who he is, so sorry, it ain't gonna happen.
Jeez, man, you're a narcissist.
No, I'm just the guy that's been on YouTube for a long time.
All right, well, I'm gonna grab another beer.
Can you do it from where with a headset on you?
What does it matter? It'll take me like less than 10 seconds.
Now, test. So if you guys are listening, there was nothing seriously set up for this conversation. However, Truth Messenger is a man that has gone through an incredible level of emotional maze running. Now, Messenger.
Gotcha.
You've gone through between hell and high water of maze running for your children. How did that start? What was the blossom of that? Was it the moment you agreed to say I love you to this woman?
No, the catalyst for this whole situation was we were all living in a certain city or town or whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And then we got pregnant the second time and decided to 2 months later after the baby was born, it was my own idea. Let's move to the mountains. Let's move to a different area. And I was finishing a work contract. I had 2.5, 3 months left on this work contract, driving forklift at this vegetable plant or whatever. And because the mother of my kids, she was on mat leave or whatever, so she wasn't at work and she was at home, and she was spending, we were in a 50-50 partnership up to that point for 6 years. So I just said, hey, there's no need. Let's
fucking have babies?
No, there's no need to spend your mat leave money on rent and bills and stuff right now while I finish my contract for 3 months. So why don't you move to your mother's place so they can hang out with the grandkids and you can be near your family in this other town out in BC, not in Alberta, and do that for 3 months. And when I'm done, I'll meet you guys and we'll move to Nelson, BC, which is a town that's about 3 hours away from where I am right now.
This is all in the Great White North, guys, just so you know. This is like way up in Canada, Western Canada. Anyway, keep going.
So that's how that was the catalyst. I actually just said, let's save some money and you move with the kids before me. And then 3 months later, I get a phone call and a text message saying, oh, I can't do this, but I'm keeping the kids. And I was like all packed and ready to go and, looking forward to a future with my family. And after 6 years, and then all of a sudden the kids were kept and she was in a different town and I was distraught and I had to move twice. And now I'm living in the town where my kids are and she's not sharing them even like maybe 3% out of 100% of the time. I get about 3% of time with my kids. And I've been to jail. I've been to court 16 times. You name it, just so I can actually access my children when there's no history of violence, no history of abuse, no history of anything. Just suddenly, mom got selfish and her family got selfish and they don't think that I'm the person to parent my kids because I'm super independent and my kids love me. And that's it. And then here I am in the position I've been in forever, fighting through the court system now, trying to prove that I'm actually a man. I'm a human being. I'm actually not a human doer. I'm a human being.
You're a human being. Okay, but again, this story that you're telling me now. I mean, I've heard it. We've got a few people listening that are hearing it for the first time. But the story itself is old because 1,001 men have gone through this for 1,001 nights in 1,001 years. Like very little has changed. What I want to know, and again, this is for our listeners, is when was the moment that you fell in love with this woman that eventually turned your life into a living hell? That's an incredible story. That's what I want to hear. I mean, I've got one too.
Well, the only hell I can actually think that might come of any of it is when you're all of a sudden suddenly completely isolated and alone, even whether you're a social person or whatever you happen to be, suddenly you find yourself completely isolated in this emotional, mental, psychological space. And it has to do with your children, or it has to do with people that love you equally, and you love more than you have ever loved another person. And you're forced to be alone in this isolated space with and you're just expected to eat it up and to suck it up. And that's the hell on earth right there, is somebody forcing that on you rather than letting you have simply the love and acceptance that you deserve from your children, and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. I went through the same shit. I mean, what you're going through now is not the same as what I'm going through now. However, when the hell on earth that I'm talking about, this is what I want people to talk about more. I want them to talk about the love story that they fell into before hell rained upon them. What was it? A sweet walk in the park. This woman is the one I love. She'll never do me no wrong.
Well, no, you can't see. I'm a male that grew up as a kid who was raised by a mother and three aunties, but I still knew that women did wrong and that men did wrong and people did wrong.
People do wrong, yeah.
This isn't about individual wrongdoings. This is, for me, it's about when someone steps in and takes control of other human beings, which are children, and then starts doing wrong, period. And you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah, but this is the thing, man. Look, I'm in the same boat. I mean, there's that love story. There's that heartbreaking love story where it's like you meet this woman, and it's different for everybody. But there's always a moment where there's that conviction where you go, I'm going to, I guess, according to tradition, marry you and reproduce with you, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to put this energy into making it happen. And part of that,
I thought you were a tranny. Sorry, dude.
Are you talking to me or one of the fucking people in this chat?
You, obviously.
Oh, fuck. You know I'm not a tranny. Fuck off.
I thought you painted that crosswalk.
Well, that would make me an anti-tranny, wouldn't it?
Oh, no, that was the people who put skid marks and took a shit on it.
Yeah, that was me. I took a shit on the tranny crosswalk. That was me.
That was you?
Yeah, that was me. And they never found me.
Jesus, you're going to be in big trouble, man, because there's people guarding that crosswalk now.
Yeah, I know. I'll take a shit on it again. Rainbow crosswalk. I took a shit on it. Anyway, come on, man. The love story. And this is and it's funny. I'm talking to you about it, and so many men are sensitive about it because it's such a huge deal. It's the romance of falling in love. I met this woman, and she was the one, and we fucked, and we had such a good time. And then
I haven't talked
2 years later, it's the goddamn ass end of hell.
I haven't talked like that or thought like that since I was in about grade 8 or 9.
Yeah, but you did it.
No, I didn't. I never falled into the situation like you say. I've always declared equality and having 50-50 relationships with my partners.
No. You fell in love with a woman and fucked her and put your sperm in her. That's what you did. That's what all men do. But all men do it.
That is.
So what made you fall in love with her?
You condensing the story down to pants falling down and then cocks and pussies happening, and then like biological
that's the moment of action. You know what, man? When you fire a gun, there's a moment where the fire hits the bullet and causes it to fire. and causes that bullet to fly through the air and hit somebody. That is that moment, and that's the moment for every man when he says, I love you enough, so while my dick's in you, I'm going to come and deal with the consequences.
Right, but the difference is between you have to count for the ratio of like the physical and emotional status of each male and each female in a relationship to have a story that condenses down to, oh, it's just like every other story.
But it always does. You can polish the gun. You can wipe it down. You can pull it out from your old shed, bring it out with your son for hunting. You can do all that shit and tell a story. But the moment of truth is when you pull that trigger, fire the gun, and the bullet's released. And that is the moment the rest of the story is told. Regardless of how much you want to romanticize it, that's the reality of it. That's what I want men to talk about. Let's talk about the moment of the bullet, of the trigger being pulled.
Listen, you've been scathed. Now, don't ever claim that I'm romanticizing something unless I actually say, listen, I'm going to romanticize this story and explain my love story. That's not what I'm doing at all. Most
I want you to. That's what I'm asking you to do.
Most love happens without the romance. Love of family members, hate of family members, love of this, hate of that. There's not a lot of romance there. Romance is far and few in between. Like, you can either create romance or it can be created for you. Very rarely does it create itself unless it's in nature. That's why animals have it down. They're like, animals just follow their instincts, period. Humans have forgot their instincts, and they react to other people's actions or reactions rather than just instinctually reacting or acting. Then there's no excuse, there's no mistake, there's no nothing. It's just an action that happens. That includes love, that includes reproduction, includes everything.
Yeah, firing of a bullet, the moment. Because this is a funny thing. Why does everybody likes to avoid this topic? But there's a moment of lust and ecstasy.
Okay, hold on.
Has a dick and a pussy. Fires that gun.
Let's address a question here from King David says, what happened to your Filipino bride, AM?
Oh, I was never in the Philippines. I was in Indonesia. Oh. My Indonesian bride.
Your Indonesian bride. Explain that story, because King David's asking.
Yeah, my Indonesian bride is still in Indonesia, and I'm in Canada. And that's one reason why I'm here, and she's there. And I'm here with my kid, and she's there without my kid.
And what did you just do? You just actually finally, after how long have you been in Canada again? A year and a half?
Yeah.
Almost at the same time I've been gone from there, you went back there. So tell a bit of your story. Now you're living in your own place and stuff with your son. Things are really good.
Well, how about this? Why don't I go back and I tell the romantic firing pin story myself for my story? Because I'm always curious to hear that from other guys. I mean, I know my story, and I'm not afraid to tell it. I was a Western man in a Asian country. I had spent at that point maybe 5 years traveling and understanding that country, and then getting yellow fever, as you do. And I think Messenger's going to play a song over as I tell the story, which is fine. So here I am, a white man in the Asian world, starting to get yellow fever after a few years. And I was 30.
Yellow fever.
There you go. I was 31, 32 at the time. I thought, oh my God, I need to reproduce. I must reproduce. Isn't that what I must do? I'm a man. I must reproduce. So I found an Asian chick that I was attracted to.
Attracted to you.
And then I thought that I might just be able to reproduce with and have a child. So I did it. I said, hey, you want to get married? She goes, yeah, let's get married.
The firing pin, the firing pin, the firing pin.
The firing pin. And then it happened. Yes, I will get married. I'll marry you. I will marry you, and I will
Yes.
love you forever. That's what she said. So what I did, I fired my pin.
What color were her eyes? What color were her eyes?
All Indonesian eyes are brown, dark, black. They're all black.
Brown eyes,
Black. Black.
which turn black.
And the
Eyes turn
Indonesian asses, they're
Yeah,
very
so just so you
small.
know, we can always have tunes involved. But yeah, that's interesting because I always wonder because some women's eyes change colors, and that's when I realize there's a serious fucking issue going on.
That's because you're living here too long.
Yeah, Canadian women change their eye color at will.
Well, no, Canadian women change their fucking
Postal
personality
codes and
at
personalities.
will. They change their personality at will. At least with Asian women, if they're a cunt, they're always a cunt. Don't quote me on that. But the point is, my firing pin story is the same as every other man's, where you made a decision. You said, this is the woman I'm going to fire my pin into, and I'm going to live with the consequences. Right? I'm going to live with the consequences. And then after that, it's too late. Anywhere in the world, it's too late. It's way too late. Once you fire that pin, it's way too late. Once you fire the pin, it's way too late. 'Cause once you fire the pin, it's way too late. Once you fire the pin,
The explosion.
the explosion of your death. I always thought that the solution is anal. Everybody could see it as I could see it. The solution was anal. But at the time, I did not know that you could do that. And most Asian women don't like taking a dick in the ass.
That I always heard different, but then again, most Asian and trannies don't like taking it in the ass either.
Well, trannies, I have no experience with trannies, but Asian women don't like taking it in the ass because they're tight and small as a default. They're very tight and small. Go on any chatter porn website, and all the Asian women are like, no anal, no DP. They're small women. They're very tiny women, right? That's the reality of it. Is white women are just, they don't give a fuck.
That's a strange thing, mouth or ass. It doesn't matter.
Nah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in when you corrupt the whole concept of sexuality, which is probably one of the reasons why so many Western women they're falling out of favor with Western men, because nobody wants to marry a whore. Nobody wants to reproduce with a whore, but they're all fucking whores here.
Yeah, but
It's called liberation. Liberation.
Well, you got to get into the mentality of that though, like because they're all the fembots and the super feminists are seeking this. They're seeking this equality and they're seeking this thing, but at the same time, they're not taking into account what they're reaping. They're reaping what they're sowing, and they're sowing what they're reaping, but they're not taking accountability for the negative changes that are happening. They're just taking accountability for the positive on their side, and they're actually not helping young women become stronger. They're actually helping them become weaker, even though they think they're gaining something in society. Like they think they're gaining something when they're actually losing their backbone.
They're losing everything. But this is MGTOW 101 we're talking about. Most men, and I'm sure that the men that are listening to us now understand exactly what we're saying about how, let's say, especially Western women, are going in the world today is a direction that is hurting women themselves. We can call that feminism if you want. If you want to call it feminism, go ahead.
I choose not to, but I mean, there's leaders and there's followers, and there's a lot of followers. There's more followers now than ever as far as women. There's not a lot of women leaders. There's more followers. And
Women have never been leaders. They've
that,
always been followers, and that's part of their makeup.
Let's give like, I'm a man and I claim to be a leader, but I've never been a world leader or a leader of a movement or a leader of this or that. I'm a leader of my own individual spirit. That's where it starts for me. Before
because you have testosterone, you're a maverick. You have testosterone.
Well,
in other words, you can actually, if you were sat in a room, let me put it this way: if you were sat in a room, you yourself with 3 other women, and you were proposed a problem, and you were all tasked with a solution to that problem, 9 times out of 10, even though you're only 1 out of 4 of those people, you would come up with that solution and make it happen. Men. It's the mind of men. It is not the mind of women.
Well, decision making is a weird thing, actually, when you think about, based on some of our old conversations about the life expectancy of men compared to women, based on jobs, based on history, based on things, what men will do to protect compared to women, not just children and families, but their country, etc., etc. There's got to be a different I don't like getting caught up in the old mentality of the reasons. Like when MGTOW first started, right in the very first moment of it, and now like there's obviously been trolls and infiltrators and all this other shit, alt left, alt right, whatever you want to call it. There's still just a man who wants to be a man, but then if you're depending on when you were born and how long you've lived as a man,
absolutely.
Are you going to rely on some other man's information, or are you going to try and find your own? Like it's just like the flat Earth bullshit. You do your own experiments. You find your own way. Are you going to trust another man over to not just introduce you to that information, but also to carry you forward into whatever information that you're learning for yourself?
Okay, let's put it this way, Jeremy. Information is carried. Messenger. Information is carried from one person to another. Okay, one person to another, whether it be an elevated person or a lower person. But the only way we can understand information is if we get it from one person, one mouth to one ear.
But the information that we're talking about starts before the ears and starts before the mouth. Like real neurotransmitter information is being passed between us as a collective, and we are numb to it. We're numb to it because most of us are watching TV and watching all these things and doing all this shit. But that's where the communication starts. You feel it before you say it or hear it.
Yeah. Now I'm going to lead into this, which is from King David here. What he's saying is, again, information, mouth to ear. King David says, it's not women's fault to be followers. It's weak-ass men whom are the leaders who fail. And then he says, if women are whores, it's because men allow them and continue to support them. Now, what do you think about that? You there? You there, Messenger? Or are you gone? I think Messenger went out and had a sandwich and didn't hear what I said to him. So in the meantime, I'm going to answer King David's question here, or not question, but statement. It's not women's fault to be followers. It's weak-ass men whom are the leaders who fail. Fine. What I would say is that what you're doing here is you're putting the fault, you're putting the what we might call the negative aspects of women on the fault of men. And we can't do that. We can't do that. Women have to be accountable for their actions as much as men do. You don't hear people saying, you very rarely hear people saying that, well, that man, you know, he was an alcoholic abuser because his wife was such an asshole. You don't hear that shit. In our society, men, even though they build roads, and build entire structures of society, they're still held responsible for the misdoings of women. That needs to end, number one. If women are whores, it's because men allow them. In that one, I can better agree. Women become whores because men allow them to be whores. But
That's
if
a
every
crazy that could be a crazy statement, bro. Because that
no, I'm in mid thought here. Hold on. If every man,
I'm in midlife.
no, I asked you to respond to this, but you went out. You were gone. So let me finish. Like, if again, he says, if women are whores, it's because men allow them and continue to support them. Look, even if 1 out of every 100 men supported whores, there would still be whores. Because women know what their value is. They know how much money their pussy is worth. They grew up with this. They understand it. This is a part of history. It's a part of biblical history. It's a part
what about the men that were raised not by their father, by their mother, who
exactly
who explained to their son how much their cock was worth? I'm not one of those men, but I'm just saying.
The fuck did you just say?
The opposite of what you were saying. If you had a woman explaining to their son how that son could get through, could get whatever he wanted in society through the use of his cock.
That doesn't happen, though.
Jupiter's cock.
It doesn't happen.
I know most men just use their cock. They don't think it's worth anything.
Most men, okay. Generally, men, especially when they're younger, they have a higher level of testosterone. We get biological here. They get a higher level of testosterone, and they make a lot of choices based on emotion that is guided by that testosterone, and it's not good for them. That's where they need guidance. That's where they need guidance from older men, where the testosterone levels level off, and you can tell a boy, "Hey, man, watch yourself," or you can tell him not to smoke that ganja.
That was a crazy Canadian. That was a crazy Canadian hoot. That's some shatter, baby. That's straight from the resource center. Man.
Oh, I don't smoke that shit, man. Fuck that.
Straight from the fucking resource center.
Well,
like they want to make it legal or whatever in the next year. Well, it's been legal.
He's smoking government weed. He's smoking government weed, and it's fucking crack cocaine.
It's been legal for fucking 27,000 years. You roll it and you smoke.
The marijuana plant has been legal, but not fucking government issued shatter crack.
Well, this isn't government issued. I've never bought something from the government or from the new dispensaries. This is not homemade, but my buddy, instead of doing what he does normally, he has another buddy who makes him his shatter, and that's where I get my dream shit. 2 hoots, baby, and I'm in the zone.
Good. I'm glad. Fucking look at when Truth Messenger is in the zone. That's the zone you want to be in. Trust me. This guy's a good friend of mine. Good musician, and that's a zone you want to be in. Trust me.
It's called the creative zone. If you're not in the creative zone, you're in the destructive zone.
Yeah.
So which zone are you going to choose, creative or destructive? MGTOW, feminist, doesn't matter who you are. Are you going to be part of the creative zone or the destructive zone? And sometimes things need to be destroyed, but don't stay in that zone. Yeah. Don't stay in that fucking zone.
Well, there's a balance of masculinity there. Hey, all right. I want you to now talk to our 4 viewers while I go and take a massive shit. Can you do that?
Hold on. King David said it's like Eagle Blossom said. His friends hated him for telling the truth. That's another thing. I mean, we talk about women, we talk about this, family, everything else.
Okay, you're on your own. I'm going to take a shit.
Well, friends. I mean, friends will change their minds on you for telling the truth, because throughout your entire friendship, you've been telling the truth, but all of a sudden you say something that, they haven't experienced. As soon as you start talking about something that someone has not experienced, then they change their tone, because they can't have all the facts. They wonder, can they trust you because of your experience suddenly? And this is the truth with children. It's the truth with MGTOW. It's the truth with relationships. So this is me and I am here just doing a test live live test here tonight to try and figure out all of the ins and outs of making sure that our end all recordings and production of our talks are all taken care of and they work correctly and the chats are working correctly. We're not in this for making money or anything stupid like that. We're just trying to actually, we've been talking for years and years and years, and we're just trying to find a way to make it work properly because we're both retards. So it's hard to actually figure everything out when you're actually just a guy on the other side of a computer screen that wants to run wild in nature and do whatever he does. So yeah, proof. King David once again says, until proof is provided, I feel like that's what all these flat earthers are yakking about. And they're saying that there's not enough proof of the ball earth. And they're trying to provide proof of a flat earth. But at the end of the day, the only real proof any individual has, I feel, is what they feel and what they see. And it's only when a person admits that they're actually feeling and seeing something rather than taking their information from somebody else, then you can actually start talking about stuff like that. Yeah, not knowing until the proof is provided. It's funny because the court system, they swear that they work that way. They swear that, oh, we work this way, but they don't wait for proof at all. They take people's words and hearsay and shit like that. So I'm talking on I Am Serious's channel here. He's taking a shit right now. I'm petting my dog and just chilling out in Invermere, BC, Canada. It's not my home, but it's a place I moved to try and parent my children a year ago. And that's not going so well, but it's not because I'm not trying to make it go well. So testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Seems to all be working just fine. And I hope everyone had a great weekend, or is having a great weekend. It's been very hot where I live. Wakeboard Invermere, yeah. I lived here for 10 and a half months, and I'm just trying to figure out if I should get a canoe or if I should get a paddleboard. I figure I should get a canoe so I can take my kids canoeing if I actually get to see them. But yeah, Windermere. Windermere is different than Invermere. It's about 10 minutes away. It's very strange. I went to a music festival last year in Windermere.
I'm back.
You are back.
How'd it go?
How did it go? I was all alone. King David's just telling me he understands Invermere. He knows where I'm living right now. And he used to wakeboard here, or Windermere, which is 10 minutes away from Windermere.
Windermere and Invermere?
Yeah, Windermere, Invermere.
Are you kidding me?
And then Radium, and then Golden. It's like within an hour's
I know
drive.
Radium.
Well, within an hour's drive, you can access about 6 different towns, and they're all tiny.
Radium's the hot springs, man. You go to the hot springs often?
No, but I played a couple shows at the Horse Thief pub in Radium. And my neighbor,
nice.
And my neighbor in Invermere here, who rents off the same landlord that I rent off of, he uses, because he lost his license, he uses the vehicle, like the van from this this Radium Horse Thief pub van or something. He drives it sometimes.
Well, I haven't played there, but I'd like to play there one day. But at the same time, look at this. King David says, "Knowledge is not knowing until proof is provided." Yeah, and holy shit, is that true?
Yeah, we talked about it. It shouldn't be true. Like that statement shouldn't be true, but it actually is, and that's what causes a lot of the hell, man, that most of us go through.
I think what you're saying is it should be common knowledge, but it's not, unfortunately. And you can apply that to anything that we see, hear, or believe. in the virtual world we live in, which is we live vicariously by the threads of social media. That's it.
See, I'm a person that I can admit addiction. Okay, I smoke 30 joints a day, or I spend 2 hours on Facebook a night or something. For whatever reason, I can admit that. But the average person can't admit their addictions, and then therefore gets confused and wonders how they're spending 6 hours on social media, or that's how they actually talk to their friends, or that's how they do this.
Well, it's
Like,
not the time you spend. It's not the time you spend.
oh, it sure is, man.
It's not the time you spend. Seriously, it's not the time you spend.
Don't say it's
Because
how you
time-
spend your time.
Well, I wasn't going to say that. What I was going to say is that the time you spend is almost irrelevant to what you're spending your time on. And even if you spend all your time on social media, it doesn't mean you don't understand anything. And again, it goes back to what he said before, not knowing until proof is provided. Proof can come from anywhere. Proof can come from your neighbor. Proof can come from your own dreams. Proof can come from somewhere, but
Well,
it has to.
that explains religion. You just explained religion without an argument, then, because
No, you never let me finish.
I'm just saying, if,
Evidence.
if proof comes from your dreams and from your own brain and everything else, then you don't need a third party. The third party is taking part with you inside of your dreams or your own knowledge.
You never let me finish.
That's okay.
Proof can come from your dreams, but it has to be relevated to the same instances of, can it be observed by other people, and proven to be true? If you dream something, proof can be in it, but it needs to be measured and observable by other people.
Well,
It's that simple.
this can be said about emotional things too that are private. If you actually expose those emotional issues to the masses, then you'd have judgment and other people saying, here's the proof. So you're not alone in your situation anymore, your private situation.
Wait, are you going back to your own experience of a family court?
No, anything. Like, let's just say you're in any kind of bullying or any kind of situation where you find yourself by yourself, and a situation happens and one person's declaring the truth and the other person's like, oh no. But then if you have people witnessing this fact and it happening, then those people witnessing it are actually, it's just like, I mean, that's why there must be things called juries. There's like, in every circumstance.
Yes, that's why they exist.
If you have witnesses.
That's why they exist.
Yeah, it's trippy.
But it's not just witness. It's not just witness. King David just said, dream is not evidence, but for subconscious. No, look, even subconscious and dreams could be provided for evidence if it equals observable and measurable objectivity. Anything can be. But most of us don't live by that meme. Most of us live by, I heard it, it must be true. I heard it by something I like, it must be true. That's it. That's how we live today.
But then there's people who see things happen and actually deflect and deny that they saw those things. The opposite of that.
What? They what?
Well, someone will actually see something like a crime or something or whatever, and then somewhere inside of them, when they get questioned on what they saw, they either don't remember, can't remember properly, or full out deny that they saw
Okay,
something.
you want to talk about finding out a crime? That's something different.
Well, no, not really. It's everything we're talking about with MGTOW and everything else. There's crimes happening.
Yeah, but look, man, if a crime happens, right? Let's say somebody murders someone, then you have to have physical evidence to prove that that person murdered that other person. There has to be physical evidence.
Even if you were there and you watched it, like, your word is not. This is what I mean about this is what I'm trying to say, man. You don't need the physical evidence if there's a witness that sees and knows in their heart, and they're not crazy, and they saw that experience happen. But suddenly you find yourself in court needing physical evidence to prove that this happened.
Exactly. You can go to court on someone's testimony, But you can't be proven guilty. Yeah, but you can't be proven guilty unless there's physical evidence. That's in a true just society. But Jeremy, we don't live in a true just society, because what you're talking about, and I think you're going back to, is your ex-wife's spoken testimony without evidence, and still you having to live a life of a single father without being able to see his kids based on her testimony alone. And what that means is that we are living in a completely unjust society that doesn't care about physical evidence. They don't care about it. That's where we are now. I mean, and that's where we are with the majority of people that invest their time into social media. You don't need physical evidence. All you need is a meme. And a meme is belief. It's Kekestein. And then you believe in it. It's bullshit. Cuckestein. What it should be.
The reality is, this is the sad part with humans, like with anything else. Like even with a meme, there's like the real memes where people actually get paid to make memes, and then there's the home meme makers, which I am, and a bunch of other people, and then there's the instant meme. Like as soon you just post somebody else's meme. Like I started creating my own memes right off the bat.
Yeah.
Period. With a picture and my own words, just because I was like, okay, if I'm going to get into this meme world, I'm going to make it real. But then sometimes, once in a while, I'll feel someone else's meme and I want to repost it or something. Once in a blue fucking moon.
Hold on. Staying free MGTOW. Bait. There is no bait going on here. There's no bait. This is the truest conversation you'll ever hear.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not. My AM's a MGTOW super personality. I'm just a guy, man, talking.
I want to go back through some of what they said here. Believe half of what you hear and 75% of what you see. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Absolutely. Absolutely. He says Messenger needs to drum up some physical evidence against his ex-wife. Absolutely. And this, what you were saying, King David, is the same thing that every man that's going through Messenger situation has to do. Because in Canada, at least, let's just say at least in Canada, our criminal system allows women to murder based on their testimony alone. It's not justice. We don't live in a just society in Canada. We do not. I've witnessed it with my own eyes.
Yes, but you can also say the one thing that we do live in, which isn't something that I think is that great, because I've never been for Canada 100% alone. I was born and raised here.
No, I'm talking about Canadian laws, which apply.
I understand. That's what I mean.
Provincially, federal laws.
Whatever it makes you feel as a person when you wake up in the morning and go to bed at night. I've never felt more unsafe living in Canada because nobody's awake. Like, so many people are not awake on so many levels. They're so complacent, and they feel so safe, and they feel so justified
until it happens to them. Until it happens to them. Wait till it fucking happens to them.
We talk about community here in Canada a lot, and there's a few thousand people and 100,000 people move. They care about their communities, but most people are so that it's all about what your neighbor has and what you don't have, and what you can access, and free time and vacation time and who knows what. But yet there's still people starving on the streets. There's still children being abused. There's still males being abused. There's all this stuff's going on, and it just gets passed by because for some reason, that's the thing about Canada that I don't understand, is that I've never felt at home here.
Yeah. Well, okay. That's great. What you just said, I think everybody understands it. I do. And I want to just interject with my own personal experience from coming from Indonesia. Now, Indonesia is not third world country. It's a developing nation. Okay. We can maybe call it a second world country. But while I was there and going through divorce, do you know what I had to do as a man to make sure that I had my kid? I just had to drop dollar bills in front of the faces of judges. That's all I had to do. I have the money, and lawyers, are you willing to make sure that I get custody of this kid? And they did it, and they bent rules, and they didn't care. As long as the money was there, I did it. And you know why I had the money? Because I was a man. The woman didn't have any money. She had none. She didn't have even close to the amount of money she needed to do what I did while I was there. And I went through the process.
What I did when I was there. What I did when I was there.
I went through the process. I paid the money. I put it in front of the lawyer's face, the judge's face. I put on a good face. I put on a good face.
You have a nice face right now, man.
And guess what? They wrote up a piece of paper and said, your son is now your full custody, and you can take him out of the country if you want. No problem. Signed, stamped, delivered, finished. And then I went and I left. And that would never happen here in Canada. Not 100%.
That's the exact thing. I tried to explain this about our stories. Same stories, opposite outcomes.
Yeah.
And you had the harder struggle. My struggle should have been very simple. It's like, okay, I'm here. I'm 5 minutes away. Can I please parent my kids? And no, sorry.
Easy.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because the judge is a cuck, and my lawyer's a cuck, and her lawyer's a cuck, and she's a cuck.
Now, let's put this in Indonesia perspective. If I was living 5 minutes away?
Hold on. King David just says that Canadians will do anything to avoid reacting to a situation which will mean discomfort or conflict or anything, but yet we're always in conflict. Like, I mean, the trannies are taking Canada over right now.
Canadian men are fucking pissant cucks.
You don't want to be, though, even if you're trying not to be a cuck.
No, they are. They are, man. I talk to men here. I talk to many Indonesian men are better men than Canadian men. And the funny thing is that Indonesian men, they don't give a shit about their offspring. They'll fuck a chick, she'll have a baby, and they'll just walk away and go, I ain't paying shit for that. You take care of it.
Right. Here, if a man says, okay, I will take care of it, how about you just go and whore around? And then all of a sudden, the courts won't even let you do that. They'll be like, no, sorry, mom, she can't whore around. She's the mom. She deserves the child. And you're just a cucker.
Yeah, a bad situation needs discomfort to resolve. And that's the thing, man. I mean,
that includes anything. It's like a bad situation can be all of a sudden like you and I turning on each other in the middle of a fucking alley and having a street fight for no reason. And something's uncomfortable. But unless one of us, if we both try and act all nice and try and be cordial and shit, one of us is going to react to that bullshit. So you have to be uncomfortable and willing to fucking, like, basically look in the fucking mirror. I've always said, you look in the mirror.
Yeah.
If you can't look in it.
Messenger, the red pill halfway down the Canadian man's throat.
That's okay, because the red fucking everything else is already deep ingrained in my system.
No, I'm talking about the average Canadian man.
Still.
Not yours, but the average Canadian man. It's lodged halfway down his throat. And he can't swallow it.
I admit to it. I can taste it.
Can't swallow it. Yeah.
And
well, it's good, man.
I don't want to swallow it. It's like I feel like my soul has swallowed it. But for some reason, from grade 1 until now, I have more women in my life than men. And that's just through my natural way, family wise and otherwise. And I'm not like I'm not a cuck. I'm not a white knight at all.
I know you're not. I know you're not. But I want to say this though before you continue. I want to say this to the listeners. I'm going to change the title to this video of me having an interview with a man with a red pill stuck halfway down his throat. And he's trying to debate on whether or not he's going to swallow it whole or spit it back up.
No, I'm not debating anything. That's the problem, man. My throat's only so big. So maybe the red pill needs to decide how big it is or how small it is.
It doesn't work
what
that
it's
way,
got inside. You're saying something doesn't work that way.
Oxygen, you breathe it in, you breathe it out. Your throat doesn't get to decide how much it takes in or takes out.
my fist decides whether or not I crush the chicken with my wolf. So
That ain't gonna help you, buddy.
I'm proud of you, buddy. You did a good job this year. You came from fucking Indonesia. You went back to Canada with everything on your plate. You fought through everything, and now you're a free man sitting in your own fucking kitchen, doing your own business for your own reasons. And here we are talking on this talk, and that makes me happy. It means that, you know, you're not a cuck, and I'm proud of you.
Jeremy, you're not a cuck either.
My name's not Jeremy. My name's Jiminy Cricket. What's your name, Big Dong? Anyway,
Message. Your name's not.
The more you call me by my real name, I'm going to start posting like crazy videos of you having a bath or something in this chat.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah, I am as having a bubble bath.
But the point is, man, is that
Just don't put words in
look,
the mouth.
look.
Are
No,
you-
I'm not putting words in your mouth.
Okay.
Look. You even said to me. You even said to me.
Okay. Are you
You said
angry?
to me.
Are you angry at the mother of your kid still? Or are you not angry with her?
Think about her. Like I don't even think about her. I don't care
Right.
about her. Like I want to and I try to and the only reason I do is because I feel I have to.
Because when your son looks at you, you know he's not just looking at you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's not just mine. And I'm the only one that tells him to, hey, pick up your phone, make sure your mom hasn't called you. Call your mom. Call your mom. Call your mom. I'm telling him constantly, call your mom.
This is why I asked you. This is why I asked you that, based on the fact that I have 2 daughters and you have a son, and our circumstances are a little bit different. Well, period. You know, and that makes me happy to know that you do that, because you know I'm very like, if I had what, I don't even want it, but if I had a certain level of custody, I would instantly share 50-50 with my ex-partner without even questioning it. Why? Because it makes everybody happy. Even the pets are happy.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
If the dog's happy, the cat's happy, the kids are happy, I'm happy, and the ex is happy. That's because we're all sharing our lives together. As soon as you take something away from somebody that means more than crack cocaine, then they get upset. So I'm rightfully upset.
Yeah. You know, it's funny when you talk about that. I have to go back and say again, it's different.
King David knows what he's talking about, and he's up in fucking the crazy town here in Canada.
Yeah.
Like a bad dog. Listen, like a bad dog on Dog Whisperer. It's like, I used to watch that show, The Dog Whisperer, that little Mexican guy or whatever who takes care of dogs or whatever. And I always felt it was kind of weird, because I wish the show was about the actual owners of the dog actually teaching their dog better manners, whatever they had to do, the way the Dog Whisperer does it, but it was actually them doing it, instead of like the episodes are all about this strange Mexican guy teaching your dog how to be your dog better than you can. It's kind of fucking weird. It's the same thing with kids, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Same as with dogs.
Well, you guys, all of you should know, including King David, is that Messenger is he's not just a guy that I invite on a chat. He is like hardcore friend of mine. Hardcore. Like very close, very intimate, very close.
Yeah.
I'm
also a legitimate human being, whatever that means. Like, everything aside, I'll spend time listening and talking and providing or accepting anything and everything I can, because for me, like King David said it best up in their chat earlier. He said something about I'm trying to find where it is here, but basically, like, you can have everything, you can have nothing, but you can be the same person. You can be the exact same person you are with nothing and everything, or you can be a person that has everything and decides to stay there and never go back to having nothing. And then you'll forget about who you actually used to be, because you used to have nothing. Or you can be somebody with nothing and never accept more things, like leading you to having everything. It's like the whole world is lost based on the fact that distraction. The more you have, the more you're distracted. The less you have, the less you're distracted. But then, where's the happy medium? The happy medium is what I feel about talking in these kind of chats, like starting to do this. Like, I don't care if I have 500,000 listeners or 6 people or 5 people or 1 person. I'm glad that I'm taking part in something that's in the now, in the moment. And I'm also accepting the future, which the future being technology and our availability to talk and listen and watch videos and everything else and talk in a chat all at the same time within the same medium. Or I can turn my computer off, shut the power off in my house, and I can have a phone, and I can I can go back to the dark ages. Like I'm happy and content being caught up in a moment where I can explore everything with the click of one button. Or I can go back to knocking on everyone's door like a Mormon, going door to door, door to fucking door, taking individual experience over like having, like I'm sitting alone in my apartment by myself.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to one of my best friends, and I have 6 people watching or listening to what we're talking about, and we're just doing a random chat about crazy shit. But it's that's a beautiful thing compared to completely being alone, just being shut right off.
Well,
This is
one of the things that what was it? They said,
hold on.
Can get it before.
Let's answer Staying Free's question here. It's not even a question.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's a he or a she, but he says, some say as went and got a young wife in another country. Just asking.
Yes, I did have a wife.
How old was your ex-wife?
I was 32 at the time, and she was 28.
Oh, that's not bad. That's nothing, man. I'm in a relationship with, at 40 years old. My ex is 13 years younger than me. Her mother, like my ex's mother, is actually the problem in my relationship with my kids and with my ex. But my ex is 13 years younger, and my ex's mother is 13 years older than me. And my first child was born on April 13th. And I've already had this thing with the number 13. But that's the fucking problem. Like, when somebody else jumps into your life and tries to control your life and someone else's life and your kids' lives based on the fact that they think that, oh, this man's too old, or this man's too young, or this man's too something, that's when the problems start. So, hello, Xeria Yizamat.
I was married to a woman about 5 years my junior in Indonesia, and I made the mistake of falling in love.
Oh, what happened?
That's the mistake.
Did she say something?
Yeah.
Did she say something like,
exactly.
I love you, I love you?
Oh, I said, no, actually, it was my fault. I was like, oh, I'm 32 years old. Maybe I should get married.
Well, I knew you before you moved to Indonesia. I knew you before you moved there. I knew you before she hit on you. And then all of a sudden, 10, 12 years go by.
Yeah.
And now we're talking again, even though we've always talked. And now you're telling the story. But the fact is, who's sexier, you or your ex? And it's okay. You're allowed.
I can show you pictures of her if you want.
I don't. I want to see pictures of you.
I'm sexier.
All right. And you do have a sexier voice. You're a better songwriter. You're a bunch of things. Like you don't really have titties, but that's okay. And I
don't have a vagina either.
Well, your brother thinks you do.
But this is the thing. Like I mentioned to you, is like the story. What's the story? How did you fall in love? What was the moment when you pulled the trigger in the pistol and you fell in love and that was the end of it? My story is very simple. I was 32 years old. She looked attractive to me, and I thought I was doing the right thing.
You fell in love with
I
me
was doing the normal thing.
when you first met me because we were very honest people.
Well, there you
So,
go. Then now you're getting into MGTOW territory, where
we're not
you know,
trannies.
no. What we're talking about is respecting people for what they provide for you. Now,
Hold on.
for
No,
most
let's start.
men, a
Hold on.
woman.
AM.
Uh-huh.
Let's answer King David. King David's been with us from the start of the conversation here. He says, "What if you are religious like me, and only want sex and marriage?" Hey, I can feel that. I agree with that. Like, and this guy's up. He's in Canada. He's doing his thing. He's making money or whatever he's fucking doing. He's actually saying, "What if you are
Well,
religious like me and only want sex and marriage, but don't trust marriage to women,
I would
like,
say to King
and still
David,
want the, and he still
don't
wants the
trust women
sex?"
at all. Don't trust women at all,
Like, King
regardless
David,
of whether they're religious.
I'll answer this right now. Whatever you decide to do, because at the end of the day, even a strong man doesn't want to be hurt or raped or whatever else. So don't go and buy the robots from Japan, like, or whatever. Don't buy those new sex robots, because you can like right now in 2017 in Canada and the States and some European countries, you can buy those sex robots and you can just stay in your place, play video games, and fuck a robot the whole time, and no one's gonna hurt you. No one's gonna tell you no. No one's gonna tell you you're doing something wrong or bad or you're not being enough. That's the thing about robots. So whatever you do, don't buy the sex robot.
Don't buy sex robots, but at the same time, just understand that don't invest in a woman's loyalty. And it's not because women aren't loyal.
No.
It's
Before
because our society has set us up to a point where women can't be loyal. They refuse it because
you're putting society on the society is women, men, creatures, pets, the weather. Society is a bunch of things, a combination of agriculture and everything else. So if you want to, the feminism movement was fine in 1960, 1970, 1980, and 1990. But now, when MGTOW came out of wherever it came out of, and all I see MGTOW is men actually saying, "Listen, we have voices that don't just yell. We have voices that don't just dictate. We have voices that care about other men." Like, this is the problem. Women are taught and pushed on every day to care about their fellow woman more than a man is taught to care about his fellow man, by our fathers, by our mothers, by our teachers, by our work people, our bosses, everybody else. It's like, for some reason, like you said, AM, and for some reason, I've been privileged enough to live for 44 years. I'm 44 years old, but in the last 44 years, if I wanted to take a guess, I've opened about, as far as like opening doors for a woman or opening doors for a grandmother or opening doors for a small child or whatever, I've like opened a door going into a store or a business about 600,000 times for a female, and then about maybe only 600 times or 700 times I can remember that a woman actually opened the door for me, or I saw a woman holding the door open to the 7-Eleven or something, so a man could walk into the 7-Eleven, compared to the ratio of a man. Even if that man was angry, he had a bad day with his own family, with his own wife, he'll go to 7-Eleven and he'll open a door for a woman he doesn't know, even if he's MGTOW, like just randomly, because it's been pushed into his system.
well, okay. I would say it this way. King David said, "What if you are religious like me
Benson, yeah,
and only want sex and marriage, but don't trust marriage to women?" I put it this way. I don't know what religion you are, King David, but if I would guess by your name, you're either Jewish or Christian.
I thought
and
he
that's
was.
fine.
I thought he was Scientologist.
Oh no, I wouldn't. I never thought that.
I'm joking, man.
I never thought that.
Or
So
sarcastic.
I know. I'm guessing you're Jewish or you're Christian, and is that religion, if you study it and observe it from what it presents itself as, it is completely gynocentric. All religions, I'm talking Islam, Christianity, Judaism, the big three. You can go into Hinduism if you want. But all religions focus on women. Women as to be protected. If you're Islam, you understand that women are lesser and must be protected like children.
Right, but
In fact, you can marry four of them.
I am. I'll interrupt you in one moment, only because I'm naive in this. I'm naive in this point. As a true 100% Canadian man I've never traveled across the borders to adapt or gain wisdom from another culture's outlook, men or woman or whatever. I've always just stayed here. When you say something like that, it's like it blows my mind religion-wise, because if what you just said about that particular religion and how they feel about the protection, but then in that same culture, you can like cut off a hand or chop off a finger or do whatever you want for like an argument, or you can actually beat somebody or punish them. Or
You're watching news. You're watching too many news.
I don't watch any news. That's the problem. I don't watch any news, man.
No, look, you're believing in memes that don't exist, man.
I'm not watching memes. I can shut my computer off, end this conversation right now.
So why do you think that? Why do you think?
Dude, I'm 44 years old. This is stuff that I learned before I was fucking 21 years old.
Like, where did it come from?
Well, it's not because of what I'm doing now and seeking information. It's because somehow in my brain, I retain the information that was taught to me through, yes, news and culture shock and everything else and bullshit.
It's all media.
But this is 20 years ago. It still stays in my brain.
Same media.
It's different media.
Man,
different media. Like
what I believe you're trying to tell me is that there's no way that Muslim could be a religion of women being in power, because it has to be they're getting abused all the time. Muslim means that women are beaten, shit on, and acid thrown in their faces. That's popular media bullshit. It's not reality, man. It's not reality. Not at all.
I understand that, because I'm in a position where all I'm doing is trying to say hello to my kids. And I have a woman claiming that I'm doing those things you just said, but I've never ever done those things to anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody's believing her. Now let's go. King David, I like this guy. He keeps asking the right things. He's like the original incarnation of the big three were in regards to fertility. And I know I am that you're all about fertility in that one moment. That's what it's all about, the biology of it all. And women don't seem to understand that men are capable of feeling that emotion, that fertility moment. They're part of something. And how dare you take away what I've actually
if he's talking about the original big three as being the religions, I mean Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, which all believe in the same God. Those three religions believe in the same universal God.
Something gets planted and something grows. Now, who gets to pick from the growth? Who gets to pick the fruit? Man or woman?
When it comes to fertility, I can't say that I know enough about those three religions to really understand what they all say about fertility. I don't really know them. However, when it comes to observable fact, stuff that we see every day in our lives, it's very simple to see that women control reproduction. Women control reproduction. And this is talked about in the big three. It is talked about in the big three and often forgotten. But when we observe it ourselves, women control reproduction. Why? Because we always know which pussy the baby came out of. We always know which vagina the baby came out of, but we're never 100% sure on which male sperm added to that baby's vitality. We're never 100% sure. So biology itself tells us that religion should say the same thing. That reproduction is a privilege that is in the hands of women. Because a woman, regardless of her blood or state or being, will always reproduce knowing that it is her child. But a man will never know. Is it my child? I don't know. In the past, they didn't have DNA tests. So how would they know? Well, I guess it kind of looks like me. Women have always been on the forefront of reproduction, and that is the forefront of the continuation of civilizations. As long as you know that the baby came out of your cunt, you know that it's your lineage. And you know that you have a factor in that lineage. But not so for the men. And this is why we have this false identity of patriarchy.
What does dichotomy mean compared to what you just said?
Dichotomy?
Yeah, why do people say dichotomy?
A difference. It's a dichotomy is a split.
Okay.
It's a split. It's a difference. There is never there cannot fact alone that you can only trace your lineage through the mother. By that fact alone, patriarchy does not exist and never has ever existed. Never existed. So anybody that tells you that we live in a patriarchy is a piece of shit that's either doing it on purpose or hasn't had the sense to understand basic human biology. Knows who their kid is, but every man does not. King David, women control reproduction. Therefore, men are to control women. This is the covenant which God made with mankind. Exactly. Exactly. God made a situation where matriarchy was always certain and patriarchy was always uncertain. And that was the advantage women had since the beginning of time for biology. Had that advantage. Men were allowed to say, you fucking do this and you do that because you knew who your kid is and I do not. Simple, man. You can't talk like that nowadays. You know what? If I was in Indonesia and I said that shit, I'd have women bowing at my knees. I'd have women bowing at my knees going, yes, Chris, exactly. That's beautiful. That's exactly the way it should be. But now I'm in Canada wanting to cut my dick off because these fucking cocks stand that. No. Women should be able to fucking rule the world. Fuck. Yes, women have no self-control. Very little self-control. Very, very little. Women have very little self-control. Men's Knowledge 101 says, you go on LiveLeak and every week they show videos of females being attacked in the Middle East because of Sharia law. Great. I don't know how much you trust LiveLeak as a source. I mean, I wouldn't trust any source. I would suggest to you, Men's Knowledge 101, why don't you go to wherever these females are being attacked in the Middle East? Because the Middle East is a big place, man. It's a very big place. Go there and then find those women and show that it's happening and then prove it to yourself. Because LiveLeak is not a fucking source for the truth. Hate to break your. Are you still there?
Who?
Messenger?
Yeah,
Messenger?
I was just taking a break and like thinking about MGTOW dreams.
Yeah, you still haven't swallowed that pill yet. You're trying to. You're really trying to. You're really fucking trying to.
Well, the funny thing is, King David says women have no self control, and I agree. But then men who don't have self control actually have it, and the only reason they lose their self control usually is because they're either a cuck or a white knight.
The best
Men
way to
trade self
understand.
control for sex. That's true, man. Men trades people. Men. There's not many women in control of the slave trade or the child trade or the sex trade. It's usually men, and they're doing it because they're so obviously uh, upset at the fact that they've been with a woman that has obviously taken their control away from them. But then control is not what it actually sounds like. Control is just like being content with what you do, when you do it, why you do it, and trying to be happy. But women's control is a lot different.
Well,
Men,
see, this is the thing. Do you understand that women's control is different? Do you get that?
well, it shouldn't be. We're human beings, not just human
Yeah,
doers.
dude. We're human beings, but we're men and women. You honestly believe that women think the same as
No,
men?
no. If the entire feminist movement understood that we're human beings, not just human doers, because for some reason they find a whole new value in the human doing, because men have been dying for that human doing for thousands of years for women without any kind of thank you. War, every war. You tell me, man.
Yeah, every war,
Every war.
every fucking war, every fucking war, man.
And men have the sperm. And why would you want to send off all the sperm and all the new children and all the new life and all the new everything
Well,
just so you can actually stay home and make sure that like the weapons and the bullets and everything else gets made.
well, I work at a place now where adult men who are addicted to alcohol come in frequently, and what I see is these adult men who are older than me.
Which religion helps?
I'm not saying a religion helps. I'm just saying as a story, as a personal story.
I know, but we're trying to talk to our viewers. So King David says we must learn self-control. Which religion helps?
No religion helps, man. No religion. Religion is man-made. Truth comes from God. It's direct. It's a direct line into your brain. Religion means you need a third party.
We're starting to get some audio feedback now for some reason. You must have hit something on your.
I didn't hit anything, buddy.
Well, one of our Google. I can hear my echo now, and I couldn't before, so I have to turn my Google Hangout volume off. I am. Are you okay? Can you hear my echo?
No, I didn't hear anything, man.
Because you sound like a robot now.
Maybe because
So-
I'm playing the guitar.
Okay, well maybe let's end this live chat right now because things are getting strange here on my end, and let's just chat ourselves. It's been 2 hours. I can hear my
Hold
echo.
on a second. Christianity tells men to supplicate the females. Judaism tells men the female should lead. The Muslims are taught to only follow the old archaic teaching of the Quran, which it's still the year 1000. Every religion is a direct line to women controlling everything. Whether you believe that or not, I don't care.
But your voice sounds like a robot now, dude.
Understood. I get it. I get it. Religion is man-made. God is not. God is outside of man.
But King David's saying no religion, no discipline. That doesn't,
Uh,
to me, that doesn't jive.
okay, no religion, no discipline. No, not true. No religion means politics is religion. Science is religion. You need to define religion. What I would
I
say
am,
to King David, no, let me say to him,
but you have to switch. You're having a mic problem. It's not my side. It's on your side. You need to turn off your volume in Google Hangouts and leave it, or turn off your volume on your YouTube and leave your volume on your Google Hangouts.
nothing on. There's nothing on there, man.
Okay, well,
There's nothing on. Is my voice coming out bad? Can you guys hear it? Is it coming out bad? Let me know because I can. People let me watch it. Can people hear me? Is my voice?
all
Okay,
robotic and shit.
Is it
I
robotic?
can hear an echo.
I can't.
It was good for
Apparently-
the last hour, but now it's bad.
It is bad. Yes, Argus, yes, Amat said it is bad. Okay. Don't know. Hold on. Give me a second. I'll be back. Okay, what about now? Same thing?
Well, it's a little bit better.
All right. I want to go back to the concept of the religious thing.
You can't though, because you sound like a fucking robot. Deal with it. See, lousy. MGTOW music, lousy. King, trust me, man. You need to do some more backdoor videos.
Well, that movie, I have to record it.
Okay, I'm out. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time.
I'm going to stay on, man. All right, you guys still here? If you guys are still here, okay, as long as you guys are still here, can you hear me? Is it okay? Let me know. Is it okay? I want to go back to the topic of religion before I take off. Too. I tried to turn everything off besides that. It might be a local issue. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Here, what mic is bad. Check 1, 2. Can you hear me now? Okay. Is that better? Okay, good. All right, that's good. It's too bad that Messenger took off before I got it better. Yeah, it was a matter of changing some settings. But I wanted to address a couple issues that people were talking about religion. And these are things that they've all been me. Religion kind of plays a big part in our infrastructure as human beings. It always has. It always has. You can't avoid it. If you want to call yourself an atheist and just throw the baby out with the bathwater, go ahead and you can do that. It's okay. There's no problem. If I go back to Men's Knowledge 101, he said Christianity tells men to supplicate the females. Judaism tells men the females should lead. The Muslims are taught to only follow the old Quran, like it's still the year 1000. He's not wrong. Religion, as we are taught it, is 100% gynocentric. If you don't believe me, you can talk to go out in your neighborhood, find the first Jewish cleric, uh, Christian or Muslim imam in your neighborhood. Ask them and say, what is a man's role compared to a woman? Go ask them. And they will tell you that your role is supplemental to the woman. You are supposed to support her. Her role is very minor. Basically, all she has to do is spread her legs and reproduce for you. I mean, she must be faithful to you. I mean, you have to be guaranteed that those are your kids popping out of her vagina every time you fuck her. But she must supplement to you. She must spread her legs when you say it. Here I am, your wife. Fuck me. Give me a child so that I may reproduce. Every one of those religions will tell you that. And I have to say, how much benefit to the man? You're allowed to spread her legs at any point you want. But at what cost? At what cost? You see, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, all of those religions, they come with a sort of warranty, or yes, your wife must be submissive to you, spread her legs, and allow you to know that your progeny exists. Okay, you need, as a male, you need to know that it's your semen that is reproducing children and popping out to help you in the fields. You need to understand that. It's not someone else's man. You're given that incredible right. No, this is my child. You're given that incredible right. But at what cost? Out of these religions, and I know more about Islam than the others, but you know what it means in Islam to have the right to know that you control your wife and you control the reproduction, that you are guaranteed it's your semen going into her pussy to reproduce your kids. Do you know what the cost is for that? That means you have to pay for everything in her life. Everything. You have to pay shit, to eat, to live, everything. You're responsible for that. And if you, for one moment, don't give her the ability to eat or shit or live in comfort, then she has the right to say, go fuck yourself, dude. I'm going to find another husband. That's religion. Religion. That's the man-made religions that we talk about. That's the Christianity, the Judaism, the Islamism. Those are the isms, the religions, the man-made religions. Is man is a slave to a woman. You have the right to reproduce. Imagine if somebody said to you, imagine if you asked somebody, can I reproduce? I would like to have progeny. I'd like to have a child. They said, sure. Okay, you can reproduce if you want. Here's a woman, and you can fuck her as many times as you want. She'll be faithful and loyal to you. And then you'll know it's your kid. If one moment you don't pay for whatever she wants, if you don't support her as a human, if you don't become her father, basically, then she has the right to walk away from you and even take. That's what religion is. It is. Read the books, brothers. Read the books. Religion is so gynocentric. It's fucking unbelievable. Unfucking believable. You'll hear about how Muslim men beat their wives because they were told. Muslim men are told and taught through their religion that a woman is supposed to life and give him progeny. Because, again, biology dictates who the mother is, but there's a question of who the father is. We can't be for sure. Imagine back in the old days before you had DNA tests. Religion basically said, look, I want my children to exist to carry on my tradition. How can I do that? I said, well, religion said, I got an idea. How about we make a rule that says you can beat the fuck out of your wife if she don't fucking be obedient to you. And that'll guarantee that your children from your sperm will be born. That's how you can guarantee it. So what we had was, in religious sake, is like, well, my God, how are we going to prove this is my kid? I'll put my wife in line with my fist and make sure that bitch doesn't go and fuck someone else so that I'm not raising someone else's kid. Because maternity is guaranteed. Paternity is never guaranteed. Now, this is the part that most people don't get. Age. That's why you have these concepts of religion being so patriarchal. It's not patriarchal. It's fucking matriarchal, because the only reason we have the rights to do that is because we have no guarantee of our offspring. Never have. Times have changed. Now we do. Now we can take a DNA test. We don't need to punch a woman in the face to keep her in line. All we have to do is like, oh, really? That's my kid? Ha ha ha. Let's take a DNA test and see if it's true. And if it's not, go fuck yourself. But unfortunately, modern society, modern religious society says, oh, wait. No, you should to have a DNA test. In some countries, you can't. But alhamdulillah, as the Muslims say, in many places you can. If you ever get a woman pregnant, whether you are married to her, whether you love her, whether you don't love her, it doesn't fucking matter. Get a DNA test and prove that it's not yours. Because 1,000 years ago, men couldn't do that. And that's what created religion as we know it today. Men couldn't get a DNA test. So God said, in parentheses, air parentheses, God said, you may beat your wife if she doesn't do what you want her to do. And there was a good fucking reason. Nowadays, get a test. But unfortunately, There are some countries where look, don't quote me on this, but there was a European country that made it illegal for men to ask for a DNA test for their kid. The religion of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, it's still the fucking same. Back then, women had all the rights. The only right a man had was, you know what? That's not my kid. I'm going to punch you in the face, and I'm not going to go to jail. Finished. This is the only right he had. And today, you can pray to God that if it's not your kid, you can get a test done. And if legally you can, and it's still not your child, you can pray to God that you still don't have to pay money to a kid that's not yours. It hasn't changed, man. Religion is still the same. It's still the fucking same. And that's why when I talk about religion, you have to understand religion is man-made. If you want to talk about the truth of Christianity, of Jesus Christ, if you want to talk about the truth of Judaism, if you want to talk about Ibrahim, if you want to talk about the other prophets in Judaism, or if you want to talk about Islam and Muhammad and those people, they are not religion. They are just people, true people that lived, existed. That's all they were. Religion was created by us fuckers that turned the world upside down into this bullshit. Religion is man-made. The concept of God and your soul and spirituality, that's real. That's real shit. That is real shit. Yeah, Jesus existed, but you don't know because there's nothing left of who he was. Yeah, Muhammad existed. Yeah, Ibrahim existed. They all existed, real people, but they had nothing to do with the religions that exist today. Nothing. So, I say, throw away your religions and start seeking inside yourself, your soul. Your soul exists. That's real. Jesus, Muhammad, and Musa, Moses, they don't exist anymore. They're dead. They're finished. Religion is bullshit. Your soul is real. Your soul is fucking real. I guarantee it. Stick with that. And that's why religion is gynocentric, because religion was made by cuck men. Cuck men that wanted other men to be submissive to women. You can love your Jesus, you can love your Muhammad, you can love your Musa, your Moses, your Ibrahim. It doesn't matter. Those were men. Understand this too. Every prophet of every religion was a man. Not a woman. It was a man. And do you think that if these men were considered to be the highest level of men at their time, would ever turn their religion into some kind of gynocentric bullshit? Really? If people in the chat want to talk about religion, remember one thing. Every single religion had a prophet that was a man, not a woman. And there's a good reason for that. So just remember, the story of the man that's attached to that religion has long been destroyed. It can't be trusted. It cannot be trusted. Because it's too powerful. There was a message in the original focus of that man's mission. The mission of Abraham, the mission of Moses, Musa, the mission of Isa, Jesus, the mission of Muhammad. All these were men, and they had missions just like you and me. And their words have long been lost to this gynocentric religious bullshit that exists in the Vatican, that exists in the media, that exists in people that have decided to take over the teachings of men. Never forget this. I don't care if you're an atheist or a religious person, because I'm in between. I'm just somewhere in between. I don't care who you are. But these messengers were all men. There was never a woman prophet, ever. Think about it. Why? And think about how they treat the words of men today. That's a lesson for today. The greatest people in the world that until today are making the biggest impact on the minds of intelligent people all around the world, intelligent men, I would say. They were all men. They were all men. And they were masculine men. Very, very masculine men. Isa, Muhammad, Musa, Ibrahim, very, very masculine men. And they started the history of what I understand as reality and philosophy. And there wasn't a single fucking woman. Just remember that. There's a fucking reason for that. Don't forget it. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm sorry I missed real quick. He might have got twisted in some of the things I said. Maybe I pissed him off a bit, friend. We've been together a long time. I'm glad I got to hear actually what you people were trying to say, because it's been a long time to make this happen. I just moved into a new place. I've been through so is Messenger. So much shit. But anyway, guys, I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully we can make this a little normal, something that can happen a little bit more of the time. Hopefully I can make this something more regular, finally, after all the shit I've been through. So take care, guys. Appreciate you actually sitting here and listening to my rants, and my friends. Love you guys. Peace. Don't believe in anything. Believe in yourself first, and believe in what you can do. That's the first thing. If you want to find God, believe in what you can do first. Then you'll find it. Take care, brothers. Good night.